depends on three main points. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, let's look at the people around within their borders. This is usually achieved with the river system, since moving on water is much easier than on land. Having cheap and easy transport allows you to send your goods further away to more profitable markets. Also, if people and goods can move around easily, then they interact more with everyone around. So if multiple populations are interacting with each other, then a country has an easy time solidifying its identity and cultural and political stability. Remember how it was called balance of transport? So the catch is that while internal movement should be easy, access from the outside should be difficult in order to protect from enemies. So let's say you have mountains or deserts on your borders, then you're probably good to go. But if you're really lucky, you will have oceans as your neighbors. A really good example of a civilization that had a good balance of transport was ancient Egypt, thanks to the Nile River. Mass food production was very easy thanks to lots of water being present and fertile soil. Easy transport along the valley allowed small farming settlements to combine into one kingdom eventually. Also, a big plus, having vast scorching deserts on either side of the valley helped keep out enemies and outsiders for over 1,000 years. The second thing a country needs is called deep water navigation. This mainly involves technologies such as robust shipbuilding, navigating without seeing land, and having weapons such as cannons. Countries who have these things have a big advantage, since they can sail far out into the world and access new markets. Also, they can keep enemies far away from their shores, thanks to using a navy. In the 1300s, the poorest region of Europe was Spain and Portugal. Since these guys were far away from the other nations, they had to pay middlemen in order to access the spice trade. So they were tired of getting the short end of the stick, and they came up with deep water navigation and completely changed the game. Spain crossed the Atlantic and dominated the Americas, bringing back lots of gold and silver and becoming the most powerful empire in Europe. Meanwhile, tiny Portugal sailed all the way to India and took control of the spice production centers, basically making the Silk Road irrelevant and really weakening the Ottoman Empire. The last thing that you require for a country to become evolved is industrialization. In pre-industrial times, you only had three choices to put in some work. You had wind, water, and muscle to achieve anything you wanted to do. This limited the amount of work you could do and where you could do it. Once coal started being used and steam power came into being, what humanity could achieve was completely revolutionized. Machines helped make factories much more efficient and productive and helped economic output grow substantially. If countries are bodybuilders, then industrialization are steroids. So one of the first Arnold Schwarzeneggers to show up in the world was Germany. Industrialization really helped them out with their prior predicament. So Germany used to be very poor and unstable because they were located in the middle of Europe. So they had lots of enemies surrounding them, rival nations. Also, Germany had many little city-states, and those were never really unified until they built a national railway network in 1840. In order to gain an advantage over their neighbors, Germany invested heavily in industry and education, developing things such as engines, cars, and pharmaceuticals. Eventually, they became the fourth largest economy in Europe, the largest economy in Europe, and the fourth largest in the world today. So there you have it. Balance of transport, deep water navigation, and industrialization are the three magic ingredients required to make a country successful. So you might be wondering, who is the accidental superpower? If you haven't guessed it so far, it's the United States. Because they are bordered by two oceans, and they have more internal waterways than the rest of the world combined. The United States is protected and has economic opportunities equal to no one. Because of their geography and many natural ports, they were able to harness deep water navigation better than anyone else, making them the greatest maritime power ever. Industrialization also came easy to them thanks to having a huge amount of capital, a vast domestic market, and really low defense costs. And that's how you get a superpower to rule them all.